We made it, kids. We're gonna be freeze and lag free today. Isn't that awesome?
Wow, it is.
Aren't you excited about that?
I am so relieved that you have found the solution.
It was crazy.
You must be awesome.
Yeah, okay. We both must be awesome, right? So I was like, yesterday I was like, I stopped streaming, and I was still getting the issues, the lags. I was still seeing them inside of OBS. And I'm like, well, okay, if I'm not streaming and I'm still seeing them, that's also, interesting information. That's unusual. It's unlikely to be a lot of things that I thought it was.
So this was you effectively seeing within OBS the sort of rendered copy of your own desktop and so forth, but not pushing it out into a stream.
Right. Okay. So in OBS, I was seeing the overlays, the animations, even my video freeze like that. And I was like looking at it, and I was like, this feels like it's happening on a regular basis.
Sure. So
I started timing them, and I wrote this to you out in the Skype window. The timing on these things. Let's get the music going here. Can we do that? Looks like the music is not working. Why is that? Am I missing something? Looks like that's connected. I'm not sure why I'm not getting music through here on that. So does that mean, I think it means I got to restart. I've got to restart this guy is what I think it means. Let's try that. Let's close this down. Just a second here. Okay. Let's close that down. Let's restart that. That's Mr. Announcer Bot coming back in. Let's refresh the drone game. And with that refreshed, let's see if we can get some music now. No music.
No.
And is it because I can't hear it? Can we get a drone in? I just want to see, am I able to get a drone?
Also, no drones for me.
Let's also close this one and restart it. Restart that. All right, that's restarted. And do we have any more, like, can we do a drone now? Well, that's really unexpected.
No chat of any kind seems to do anything.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to, we could step in and debug it. I feel like, let me try refreshing one more time on the drone game. Any better? Is the luck any better on that drone?
That's one.
It. So that means music's going to work now. Just it took a restart of both and a refresh. All right. Got it. Okay.
Oh, there you go. That's good.
So I started writing down the data on this, and I realized that it was freezing for about 16 seconds every time.
Mm-hmm.
And when it stopped freezing, it was another minute before it started freezing again.
Yep.
So the cool thing about this is that I was able to basically go into Google Sheets and predict when the next one was going to come.
Yep.
So I've just got formulas here where I'm just adding these up. And they were hitting right as I would predict them. So that was cool because now I was able to see if a change was going to have an impact or not.
That's right. You knew when the next freeze should happen, and therefore, if it didn't, you had made some kind of an effect.
So then I started. Deleting scenes, and I got down all the way to 2 scenes, and it was still happening. And I deleted one of those 2 scenes, left with just the simplest thing, and I think that fixed it. So I was like, wait, what's going on? And I went back. The problem is I make a change. I have to wait a full minute on average.
Yeah.
To, or 30 seconds to a full minute to see the change, right? To see
it's
did it work or
predictable,
not.
but it's quite a slow one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I discovered I had an image inside of OBS that had a path to a network share location that was not valid.
Wow.
And that image was hidden on one of the scenes. And that was it. And that's all it took. And what I think was happening is OBS was like, well, I haven't found this image yet. Let me try again in another minute. And when it tried, it essentially locked everything up for 15 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. When I found it, I was like, there was one clue, by the way, in the log file. And the log file said, failed to load this image. But it wasn't, I'm going to keep trying, and here's 15 seconds, every minute, and let me interrupt your stream. It was like just once in the loading that message came up.
Gotta wonder what kind of image they thought was so desperate that you load. The nature of loading images is of such high priority that, throw everything at this. Don't do anything at all until we find it. Well, you can't find it.
I think it's also an operating system issue. It was a synchronous call. And the operating system was like, well, let me get it for you. And the operating system was like, I'm going to try for about 15 seconds. But I think it also needed authentication to get to.
Okay.
And, that was my guess. I don't know. At any rate, I found it. I deleted it. And that's the end of that story. So if that ever happens again, we know what to look for. That's right. It was fixed. Disaster Puppets is out there with us. Welcome, Disaster Puppets.
Welcome indeed.
Let's talk about what we're going to do today. We're going to be polishing our code completion. This is what we were working on yesterday over here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, is this working? Looks like this needs to restart. Let me restart that because we restarted the other pieces. Get its signal R connection. There we go, that's the right button to press. All right, initialize player data. So we're going to work in the code editor over here that we're building. I made just a couple minor changes. Is that working now? Or no? It's not working, is it? Because we should be seeing stuff out there. We have to refresh in our Dragon front as well. Hold on, give me a second. Get over here. And let's refresh these. Refresh the front overlay. Refresh the 3D dice layer. By the way, I was reading about some really, really cool technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, ooh, this could be something, but I can't really do it. I made a promise to Kira Mangicotti that the next major project I would do would be a something that actually brought in money. Instead of spending, doing this kind of fun stuff. But I'll tell you what I was, let me see if I can find it. Let's go online. I'll show you what I was looking at. It was very interesting. All right, so here we go. Mandalorian virtual sets. Yeah, so here we go.
While filming this scene
let's mute it right here. So this scene, look at the reflections all around him. See, he's not in a location. Look at where he is.
Oh, wow.
He's in a virtual set. This is on green.
They've got a wraparound set.
Yeah,
this is
green screen. Yeah, it's a wraparound set. This is green screen, right? Old technology. The problem with green screen is that you don't get reflections. Like, look at the reflections in his outfit of the whole world around him.
Yeah.
Right? So green screen, you can't get that. Green screen, you also have problems with bleeding. right? So in order to get this, I've got to work to get some of the green that comes around the edges here. So I've got green screen behind me. This is on that same set. This shot is on the same set right here. And it's crazy technology. And it's essentially done with, this is also blue screen right here. So they're kind of talking about history and they're kind of going back and forth. This is the set. So we got real props in the foreground, digital in the background. It's kind of like this old technology right there. So I'm like thinking, I could build one of these in Costa Rica in my backyard, is what I was thinking.
Did anyone else see this coming?
It's got essentially 4 computers are controlling it. They're all using Unreal. It's all technology we have access to. The background screen is like probably super expensive. I haven't looked into the cost of the, that outer back thing, but all the computer and the software stuff that we can do, it's tracking. What happens is also as it tracks the camera, as the camera moves, it changes what's in the view in the background. So you can do a handheld shot around someone and the background will update immediately. So as if you're on the set. Right?
So effectively, it monitors the movements of the camera relative to its fixed position, calculates that should see a slightly different image, and then renders that image behind you.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
It's a great idea.
But I can't do it, Rory. I just can't. I made an agreement that said I couldn't do it.
Karen, please.
Yeah, but anyway, there's probably
get a GoFundMe page.
Yeah, no, there's probably something, totally. Yeah, it's very cool. They also have one on the ceiling too, which is they're doing primarily just to get reflections of the world in the environment. Yeah, look at the reflections off of the motorcycle there.
See, that's impressive, isn't it? Right, as you say. So you're projecting an image live, actually in shot. So the camera that's looking at it, other than the motion tracking you mentioned, isn't having to do anything particularly clever.
Yeah.
Right? It's just filming live people with a live image behind them.
Yeah.
But to go to the expense of effectively putting like a monitor or another screen above, out of shot, that's not even going to be in the shot, just to get the reflections correct. That's going the extra sort of mile, isn't it? That's pretty good. Yeah,
here's green screen, and look at the problem, right? In post-production, you've got to take all that green and remove it, right? So there's painstaking issues that happen here. Also, there is green around the edges of the character too that comes in. Yeah. So that's what's so cool about it. The other thing that's interesting about this technology is you're now doing your post-production effects beforehand, a lot of the case, right? You're building the sets up. You can have real props in the set, and you can have virtual props as well. And instead of scouting for locations in a real world, the artists build the set, and then the director and your location scout wear a VR headset and go into the world to figure out where the good camera angles are going to be. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's so much faster in terms of creating these kinds of things. It's super exciting technology. And
although interestingly, if you're using the wraparound screen technology, unlike the CG variation, you cannot change the angle in post-production. You cannot go around because you were filming what was shown on that screen as the action took place.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Interesting variation.
Yep.
But these are all very clever techniques either way, aren't they?
But the other thing is, think about it, right? Instead of that in post-production discovering, we've got to make a change, or let's, change it, let's put it here. Right there while you're getting the set, while you're getting the shot, right? Mm-hmm. The other thing too is you can have creatures in there that actually actors are looking at as well, right? To get the eye lines correct that are just showing up on the screen, which you could do. Anyway, that's some cool technology, and I'm I keep thinking how can I integrate this into the stream? Not sure yet, but cool stuff. All right, so what are we going to work on today? So let's take a look at what we've got here. I made a change here. I'm not seeing the change show up here. Oh, you know why? Because there are no spells here. These are all features. And I made a minor change over here. There it is right there. So you can see the icons. If it's a spell, we'll just grab the icon from a folder out there and put it in here. And that was a real simple change. That was just done inside the XAML right here. What is it? Image, I think I can search for. Yeah, I think that's it right there.
Yeah.
List known spells and features. So I just added this right in there, and that just gets that. I can bump that up to like say 26, make that a little bigger. Like that, and that we should see it update. Didn't seem like it updated very much. Huh. Oh, you know why? Because we're not running. Because we're not running from there.
Oh, of course.
I've
No
started
debugging.
the standalone version of it.
Just the standalone, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll change that back. We'll change 26. Watch that. We'll start it up from here. So yeah, fix that bug when I finally. It took me hours to go through that, by the way.
It's a pretty painstaking thing because, as you say, you had this idea that it was something in a scene, but then you have a lot of scenes, and it's particularly unlucky. I mean, was it in a lot of the scenes? Did you have to have theoretically removed it, or did you have to find the one scene it was in?
No, it was in. No, I couldn't find the one scene that it was in because it could have been in multiples. As long as it was in one that I couldn't find. Right, I deleted it from the main scene and all the ones I thought it was from, but the problem still existed. What I had to do is I went into OBS and I said, let's add, and I did this, is what I did. I went in, here, let's grab OBS just so you can see it. Here's OBS here. I came in and I said, right click here and I said add, and I said image, and then I chose add existing. I found the bad one because I knew the name of it, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like here's fake nose. And then there's fake nose, and then I came in, right clicked it, and I said properties, and then I fixed this and click OK. And once I did that, it solved it. So then I didn't have to go find it everywhere. That was kind of the thing that happened there. So anyway, that was that. Okay, fake nose, I can probably delete it. We don't really need that fake nose. Okay, so we're
I don't know, I
running.
could see Fred needing that quite regularly.
Let's see, we're running. Yeah, Fred could use that. Sure, why not? Did we initialize already? Yeah, it looks like we did. Let's go over here, go to the code, and there you go. They're a little bit bigger now.
Okay.
So, there we go, like that. So you can see what each one of those are. I also did another minor thing that enhanced usability a lot. Hold on, where's my mouse? There it is right there. And that was to, if I'm here and I hit enter, I come over into the next piece. But if I'm here and I hit enter, I go over to here. So I can now,
code.
you know, exactly. If I hit escape, I come back up. And if I hit escape one more time, I come back up. So just a quick way to go up and down. The other thing I did too is whatever one was selected, like if on casting is selected here and I switch from chill touch to lightning lure, we're still going to see that on casting all the way down for every single one as we go through. So we can just go down and compare all of those. I also changed the syntax highlighting so it kind of matched mine. But
It's got a dark screen and similar colors.
Yeah, I don't really like the dark in the middle of the white though, so I'll probably change that back a little bit. Probably just do a light theme here. But that's kind of where we are.
It makes it much more obvious that the actual size of code window is changing relative to how much code there is.
Yeah. The thing I don't like though is that the emphasis is on the box and not the code. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I don't have dark theme everywhere else. So I'm probably going to undo that change and fix that back. So let me bring up the list of things I want to talk about working on today. Here we go. This is our to-do list here. We finished autosave yesterday. So that is working. I think we did it after you left, Roy.
You were certainly fairly close.
Yeah, so let me show you. Let me show you autosave here. Let's bring up the bring up spells, and we'll go down to Chaos Bolt. Here's Chaos Bolt right here. And I have no events inside of Chaos Bolt yet.
Okay.
But we can now come up over here. We can say, okay, Ray of Frost does these things. Let's just grab the whole thing, go down to Chaos Bolt and paste them in. And now look up here, saving, and then saved. There it is right there.
Very clear.
So now if I come over here, was expecting to see something. There it is. Uncasting. Okay?
Cool.
I can click fire event down here. There's Chaos Bolt. That's what Chaos Bolt looks like. Now, Chaos Bolt itself, the spell didn't attack, so there's that poof out there that happens at the end. Let's try it again. And then on a successful cast, we get that. But let's kind of modify that a little bit. Already you can see some of the things we built before, the hue of the effect. So we know what that hue is. That's on the smoke wave. Let's go ahead and make that close to 0, so we get a little bit of red in there. Fire the event again. We have to get a successful hit for that cast to work. Whoops, looks like we lost that. This is the other. Let's go ahead and just interrupt it. Try one more time. To help with that successful hit, I can change my attack down to there. And I didn't see the whole effect there. You probably maybe had a better look at that than I did. Let's go back and look at it one more time. Fire the event. Okay, and now look at the effect. Okay, cool. Now the proof of smoke, we want to change that color as well. I want to make it kind of a blue color, I think. And it doesn't have to be so bright. Maybe 80 there. And let's fire the event now. And fire the event isn't actually, it says fire the event, but it's not really firing the event. By the way, the red background is happening when we're getting disconnected, and I think that's because we're sending too many messages off of Twitch, because I keep testing and I'm sending the same thing again and again. At least now when we get disconnected, I turn everything red. There we go.
Yeah, you get informed about the fact. It's a lot easier to accept or understand if you know about it in the first place.
Yeah, I want that to be 280. I want the scale to be 1 on that. Spark burst is here. I think I want more spark burst as well. We're going to throw a spark burst up at the very beginning here with no delay. And make it smaller, and not so bright. And I'm going to make it orange, so that's about a 20 right there. Let's fire that event now. So that's a hit. Yeah, that sounds like Chaos Bolt. Now I just need to get a little bit more. I need another sound effect here on that as well. But I'm not sure what I've got out there. Let's see what's in spells. Oh, I got a Chaos Bolt sound effect.
That sounds appropriate.
Yeah. Let's go get that. Okay, so now I've got the Chaos Bolt. Let's delay it, though, by about 500 milliseconds. And so now let's fire that event. And listen and watch for that.
Look at that damage.
Okay, I'll take it for now.
Mm-hmm.
This last bit right here says add timer, snowball storm. So it's doing two things. It's going to the snow scene, so it's showing snow, and then it's setting in a timer where after 20 seconds, it's going to come back and play scene players, which is going to return back to the normal player scene. So this allows us, if we have a scene that has additional special effects on it, we could do that. For example, I have a scene out here called Wild Magic Roll. I could come in here and say DH Wild Magic Roll, like that. We could roll it again and watch what happens when we do this. We go play that scene, right?
Nice.
So we could go do that if we wanted to, and then after 20 seconds, it restores back to the normal scene, and so we have that kind of control. I don't need either of those right now for this one, but notice the cool thing is it's got autosave, which means I don't need to worry anymore. It's just now out here in the on casting, right? That's what's going on there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I might change it over here. Move all of this. I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to go over into on player prepares attack. I'm going to try it here because I want to see what happens if it happens as soon as I click on this, because I'm kind of looking more for that. Nope. Player prepares attack. So that might be later after the spell is cast. Yeah, that event I think is happening later.
Okay.
All right. Now, speaking of which, let's go back to on casting. Put that back there. It would be nice to have that as a hint right up here.
Would be interesting to have them in the sequential order they're expected to happen.
Sure. Yeah, although some of these are independent and they have to do like
okay.
So let's look at on player prepares attack. If we come out over into here, we have a hint. We have this expression is evaluated when the player is about to cast a spell. Really? Wait, really? Perhaps a good time to add any spell windups. Well, let's go look at the code. Oh, but you know what? These aren't executed immediately. These are simply added in for later, for when the spell, the float player text comes up. Let's see when float player text comes up. Does it come up immediately? I think it does. Yeah. Did I like fire? I'm not sure why I saw 2 of those.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, all of these happen if there's a hit. Okay, and I think
so it's sort of queuing them up for when that hit actually happens.
Yeah. So this is all if we do a hit, if something like lightning lure doesn't require a hit, it just has damage. So like we come in and we say, let's go over here and we bring up lightning lure, like that. So there's the wind up for it. We do the roll. As soon as we do roll damage, we should see all that effect go up. Because the damage is immediate. Does that make sense? That's kind of how I work that out. So I'm okay with that, I think, for now. I might change the events a little bit. I was just saying, hey, it might be nice to have the hint text show up when we hover over this for when these pieces are called.
Yeah. So are you going to grab the comment from the Google Sheet for that? Is that your intention?
No, I don't think so. It's not available to me. I think I want to do... Well, let me show you what our options are. And we'll get your feedback on it, Roy, in terms of what you think we should do. Caching the undo read to stack fail. That was a fail. Let me go down and we'll throw it down here. Did not work. No, like that. Maybe I'll do this as my syntax. Just a bang symbol. Okay. So we got some options. Autosave only the cell that changed. Because right now we're writing this entire piece out. Yeah,
the whole record per se gets written back, doesn't it?
The whole row comes out. Which is, when I realized that, I was like, I'm a little nervous about that. The reason why is because I potentially could be losing data if I make a mistake in that. If there's any fields from here that are coming in that are not being saved and then sent back out.
Yeah.
Plus,
there's that whole kind of default logic of as much as is necessary and no more.
Yeah, that's kind of where I want to go on this. So I'm kind of leaning towards this. Autosave only for the cell that changed. Return type for functions. And removing those functions from code completion list if we're expecting a different type for a parameter. For example, there's, I think, a select monster, and here it takes creature kinds, which it's an enum type that it expects. And AJ 2017 is with us. AJ, how you doing? So if I come in here and I start typing something like A, now in addition to seeing the aberration, I see all of the other... Right, so here's the aberration, right? But I'm also seeing all these other things that I can call.
So you want to filter your IntelliSense by, I don't know, contains thing I have already typed.
Yes, it returns that type. Well, to do that, I need the return type of all of these pieces out here. So I'm kind of playing with that because I would like to filter this out and only see the enums when I'm expecting enums, because that, reducing noise is part of good design, right? So we've got a lot of noise there, and I'd like to fix that.
That's an interesting one, though. Depending on your expectations, that could also cause problems. So if you remove methods from the list simply because, for example, they do not return a number or they don't return a string. You're precluding the possibility that the return type might want to be turned into a string upon its return.
Yep, I've thought about that.
Now, that might be appropriate for this situation anyway, though.
Good hit, AJ. Nice throw. Yeah, I've thought about that. And I basically said, for enums, we can definitely do this because there's really nothing that I know of that there's no use case in here where we'd want to return something that we would then later convert to an enum.
Coding Gorilla's come in and he says, it looks like you figured out the stuttering problem, but
I did.
No, he hid himself from entry.
He did.
I was going to say, where was his intro? But no, he deliberately opted out. This is fine.
Welcome, Coding Gorilla. We did figure it out. It was an image inside of one of the scenes that had a network access path to it, and that network path was not available to this machine anymore. And what was happening is every minute it would try to find it. It would try for about 15 seconds to try to find it. That's when the freeze would occur. And at the end of that minute, it would then wait another minute and try again. Yeah, so it was not good. It took like a couple hours to find that bug. I was like, it took a while to even get to the point where, wait a second, it might be a problem in the scenes, right, and not anything else that we were looking at, right? We were looking at all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So, all right. So this one's kind of interesting. These two are both interesting to me. More enum types for more parameters. This is easy to do, and it follows the logic we already did before. Context for templates, also interesting. In IDE Google Sheet for shortcuts and templates. So right now, shortcuts are currently hard coded, and we added two of those for you. I think you might have been there with us. One is for commenting everything out, and another is for uncommenting everything, like that.
Mm-hmm. So rather than hard-coded, we'll have a sheet of data that will drive how that operates.
Yeah, you got a preference on any of these, Rory? Anything that interests you?
I'm curious about the autosave. Well, we have autosave, but the more specific version that only deals with the piece that we've changed. But I'm also... to be honest, they're all quite interesting.
Right.
I tend to gravitate towards the code rush-like things. So I like the last two as well.
All right, let's do this one first. We'll see how quickly we can do it.
Okay.
And let's do it. We'll do it right now. Okay, so let's go look at our autosave and how that's currently working. I don't know. Do I have anything called autosave? I know I wrote this code just, the other day. I got a lot of things called save. Let's look in here. Let's go from our UI here. That'll help us find it. Not there. Icon saving. Show status saving code. And if we're not changing internally, we're just going to do that. Code changed. Somewhere nearby here. Update selected event. Set event code. Looks like actually we are already doing that. Hold on. Update selected event. Well, hold on. Yeah, that's in code changed. Let's just double check it. We may already be doing this. I thought we were calling something else. Come down here. Whoops. Let's go take a look at what we got.
So there's a fairly quick way to test. We could visit the Google. Well, we could bring up the relevant piece of code in the IDE in the program, and before we make any changes to it, we could visit a cell next to it in the Google Sheet and alter it. We know that our program wouldn't reload it at that moment, but if we then attempt to save the code, it would theoretically save either overwriting our Google Sheet change or not.
Right. Yeah, I was wrong. The set value here, the set value is just a reflection call. So this is all this is doing is just updating the internal data that has the event, that holds the event. That's not what I'm talking about, so that's not quite what we want. Let's see if we can find it. I think we were really close with our previous icon saving here. Let's try one more time. Let's look at icon save. Looks like I did not. Okay, there. Icon save. All right, here we go. This is the problem right here. We're calling Google Sheets .save changes. Let me do one other thing. I'm going to take my Solution Explorer and I'm going to move it over on the left here a little bit, right there. Stick it right in there. Yeah, let's do that like that. Just so in case, you know, Fred's not blocking so much important things right there. Do that a little bit like that. Okay. This is the problem. So Google Sheets save changes. We're passing in the spell object. And then we're going to go into here and we just kind of convert it to an array of one instance. And we get the instance type. We look for custom attributes to see if it's got a sheet name attribute on it. And if it does, we figure that out, and a tab name attribute. And then we call save changes on it, passing those pieces in. Does this have an additional parameter like column name? It does not. So we would have to adjust this. Let's go drill into this.
So I presume the quickest way to make this modification is to have an optional parameter specifying the one property that you want to care about for this execution.
Exactly.
And we'll do a lot of the rest of the calculation anyway, but then just pick out the one that matches.
Right.
And say, go do that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I want to do. Now, I'm looking at the code. So the code comes in here and it's going to loop through all the instances that we pass into it. Okay, so we're passing in one. We just have an array of one. It's going to get the row index based on the data in here and the index fields that it's going to get from the indexer attribute. So it's going to look at this type, find out which fields we're indexing on, like the name and maybe something else, some unique value. It's then going to go through all the data, find that row. That's what's going to happen here, get instance row index right there. So that code remains unchanged. Then we're going to check to see, what column index of the, get column name, column attribute, member info. This is going to get the name of the column. That's going to tell me what index I want to write to on it. Okay, serializable fields. These are the ones we're writing to. Right here, member info is equal to serializable fields.
Yep.
So what we'd want to do is filter on this right here based on the name. So we could pass in just like the string name of the piece we want to save, right? Or we could pass in yeah, that's what we'd have to be filtering it here. So that's what we would do. We would we'll say filtering on the serializable fields would go below here. Or maybe kind of inside of what's happening in here. Serializable fields. Yeah, it's going to happen here. Would go here. So that's where we determine which fields to serialize. So it looks something like this. I think we would say, look, hey, if member info dot name equals how do I want to do this? What do I want to pass in? Do I want to pass in just a single string, only one cell? I think I do. Or is my use case going to ever be pass in a list, only do these cells? I think it's only one.
It's interesting. Mostly only one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I think.
It's sort of memo-like stuff. And
Yeah.
to be fair, we can always expand from there if we have to, if we come across a use case where there are two things.
Yep, I'm going to go with you on that. That's like what we always do, isn't it? So let's, we're going to say filter member. So I want something like this. So filter member is going to come up here. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to kind of work our way backwards here. I'm going to type in VS here to give me a new string parameter, call it filter member, and I'm going to initialize it to null. Okay, so that's going to be our default value. We won't need to change any of the calling pieces to it. So now I want to check to see, hey, a filter member is not null. And by the way, I do this a lot quickly, but if I just type in NN space, it gives me that. And then I type in and space, it gives me that. So it's just a faster way to get those. So at this point, if it's not null and the name does not match filter member, then I'm going to say continue, like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to who calls this. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to come in here and type in VS. Again, filter member is equal to null, like that. Let's just copy that to the clipboard so we have it. That means save changes is going to be here. They're called to save changes. Here's where we can pass it in. So I'm going to, yeah, we just got breakpoints in both of these. We'll figure out what we're passing in. I think we're going to be done.
Mm-hmm.
The question is...
Sounds like we did all the hard work in the original implementation.
Yeah, that might be the case. Let's see. We started with the question, how quickly can we get this done? And the answer seems to be, oh, pretty dang quickly with like 4 lines of code.
Yeah.
Let's see. See what we got here. All right, we're up. Go over into code. Let's go to Chaos Bolt on casting. I'm going to hit enter. I don't need this. That's just immediately updating the event. What I'm looking for, well, I hit enter. I was looking to do more changes, but here's where we are. Okay, so the parent group name is Chaos Bolt. Let's see what else we got in here. The name is on casting.
Mm-hmm.
So now what I want to do is I want to pass in on casting here. The name, I'm sorry. I want to pass in the name like that. That's going to tell me what field is, which of those columns has been changed. I'm going to do the same thing down here. So let's drill into that. That's my on casting.
Is
right
the
there.
casing in that going to be correct? I seem to remember that a lot of the fields in the sheets had lowercase initial letters.
Let's find out.
Mind you, it should already be working. It
Oops.
should already be translating that if necessary.
We need that right there. Let's go see what happens. Go in here. I think we've got a code. I think we have code that will get this. So this is just code that's always going to be the same. Oops. Guess who's... Gosh. Look at me. All right. Here. Whoops. It's so funny, right? It's like you hear oops a lot on this show. Okay, here we go. Going inside. Now we've got on casting. And now we want to come down to here and run. And now what do we got? Member name is on cast. So that means we're going to say continue, right? That means I want to breakpoint here and run. Maybe clear the breakpoint here. We should get down to
Yep.
here. Member name is on casting. See that?
Cool. Yeah.
We don't have to worry about case because it's the same. It's the same name, I think. So I
It's the
think we're
same
good.
code as it would have identified anyway. Yeah.
So now we're going to do only that row, and let's run it. And so now only that row and column. Sorry, excuse me. And so now if we go into Chaos Bolt, let's do that test you suggested. So we're going to we're going to say here. We're going to say Mark was here, like this. And I'm going to commit it. Okay. Now, at this point, if we come back, let's see, available when, if we click on it, oh, that's not one of these that it's here. So let's get out of there. Well, we can go ahead and keep it there. On get attackability. And here too, like this. Let's come over here and put a comment in front of it just in case I forget to delete these. And now if we go over to on get attackability, it's not there because we have.
So key to this is that the app does not reload like every 5 seconds or check to see is there new data.
Right.
All right. It doesn't know about these 2 comments. So if we save badly and we save the entire record, we're going to wipe those 2 out.
Yes.
So the goal here is to see a change in the middle there in on casting, but to not see the other 2 disappear.
That's what we're looking for. So I'm going to come down in here and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say Rory is awesome, and I'll try to spell your name correctly before we get to the save. I'm messing up all over. It saved it. But that's okay. We're saving a couple times. Rory is awesome. And there it is. There's the save right there, done. And we should see it there. But these 2 have been preserved.
Success.
If everything was this easy. All right, cool. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete this one right there. And I notice I made these changes, but I haven't, again, come over here and made the changes here. So we'll go ahead and do this. Get rid of it there, like that. And so now we've saved only to that cell, which is exactly what I want, right? That means
that was the goal.
We can have somebody else editing this, and as long as they're not editing the exact same cell we're changing, then what will happen is we'll make that change, and it'll integrate right into the set of changes that are happening inside the document. So inside the document. Okay, good. 1 down. That was interesting and surprisingly much faster than what I thought we were going to do. Okay, autosave only the cell that changed. So now we've got really cool autosave going on here now. Return type for functions. All right, I think we're on it next. Do you want to do that next, or do you have another preference, Rory?
I'm good. These are all extremely valid ideas.
All right, and if you're watching out there and you've got a preference, you want to see one of these things, let us know for sure. I'm going to head towards return type for functions and removing those functions from code completion list if we are expecting a different type for a parameter, especially if it's an enum. Let's at least say an enum type. Oh man, I'm going to say different because we're really not in this world. It's scripting. We're not really going to have nested. One thing calls another, calls another, calls another. That's generally not. And if you really had that situation and you wanted IntelliSense, you could go to an empty line, get the IntelliSense piece you want, cut it, and paste it in. I think it's far more important to reduce noise. That's what I want to do. That's the goal here, is reduce noise. All right, so let's look at that. Let me, let's come over here. We'll close the app down. And let's go to the code. Let's go look at our functions. That's down in the core. Here are some functions. And I think I want to change. I guess I'm going to make my own new. It's going to look like this. Return type, like this. And it's going to take in, oh, you know what I want to do? I want to create a new template. I dreamt about this last night, and I want to create that now. Let's go in and do it. CodeRush, code templates. I already have like this TO template in here, which unfortunately it originally was doing a type of. Where is it? There, that one right there. But basically, it's got some very restrictive context. It doesn't work all the time, and so the reason this evolved is I started with this, and then I think got to here TO becomes an object type. So what I want to do though is I still want to get this in faster. So what I want to do is I'm going to I guess create a duplicate of this, and I'm going to call it TYO. That's going to be my type of. And let's bring that up. And I don't think I need all of this context. Like this is just a very specific context. I just need encode block, which means we're where, or is there an expecting expression? Is there context with the word expression? In expression, selection expression. I'm going to go with encode block. I'm going to go with encode block because it's unique enough. TYO. So there's now I've got TYO right in here. Roy, can you send me an email that says TYO on it, on the subject? Or just remind me, TYO template. Click OK on that.
That's a pretty niche title. That's good.
Can it work here though? TYO, is this going to work? It's not. It's not going to work here because I'm not inside of a. Let's check the template on that, the context on that. I mean, TYO, encode block, or what else do I got? Is there in parameter or something like that? In parameter block, in parens.
Effectively, are you after in method call? Essentially.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You want to try that? I think in parens is going to nail it, but it's potentially a little loose.
That's true.
It's going to, it could also expand inside of a. Let's see here. In method call, is there something like that?
No. It is tricky because CodeRush is designed around the idea about multiple languages being compatible, and some languages, for example, have parens for all of their method calls, but some not necessarily all. So it isn't a guarantee. So that may not have been a good direction anyway. What's a parameter block? Oh, there we go. That sounds good.
I think that might be for the declaration though, not for the call.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't say method calls. It says methods open and close parens.
Is there something to be said for the difference between a parameter and an argument?
Yeah, but
in this case,
but I've typed in argument and I'm not getting anything.
Oh, okay.
So it seems like at the very least, in parens is going to give it to me.
Yeah.
For the most part, I thought I just selected that. Did I not? In parens. Wow. Okay. Coder's bug. Let's go get that reported. All right, kids. I'm right here, and I'm trying to add a new context. Coming in here. I'm typing in parens. You might want to roll back to see what happened. I'm here, double clicking it, clicking OK, and nothing comes out. That's the bug.
From memory, Mark, you did this once already.
Yes.
And then you manually deleted the in parens piece.
I did.
And then we went looking again. So that may have something to do with it.
Yeah, roll back about 20 seconds on the video to see what's going on. All right, for now, I'm going to click on OK for that. That's the issue. Let me just write the, get the bug in there. The issue is in parens context not appearing after selection. So we're dog fooding CodeRush here on the show. We do this live 4 days a week. And sometimes we find issues like this. Let's go into the chat, pop that in. There it is. Now we close the issue up. Remember, devs, go backwards about 20 seconds and look at what led to that problem. So I'm going to come here and say return type. I'm typing TYO to use my new template. What? We're not getting that working there. Why is that? Do I have a problem in my syntax for the context? I don't think I do. TYO. I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Are you definitely in a code block, or are you because you're in an attribute?
I'm just saying, hey, if I'm in a code block or, I've got the or symbol right there, that should work. If I switch it to just in parens, we can try that too.
What I'm thinking is you can't write code in a class. You have to write it in a method in a class. So you may not be in a code block by the strict definition.
Right, but because it's an or operator.
Oh, sorry, the or. I was thinking and for some reason. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The parens certainly should be qualifying. I mean, it's one on the left, one on the right. One would hope that's sufficient.
Yeah. Oh, I just noticed I got a paste in here too. I don't need. Do I need to paste type of in here? I think I'm just going to do caret like that. Let's just change both that and this, and let's see if now it works. Still not working. Bet it works down here. Does it work? Oh no, it's got to be in parens again. Yeah, I think I need that. So the in parens is failing up there, it appears. So let's go document that. TYO. Actually, you know what you can do in that email?
Mm-hmm.
Not the email you just sent to me.
But the one that you just sent out as a...
Yeah. Reply back to that and say there's context problems too. Tell them to keep watching for, a few more minutes so they can see that. I'm adding in code block now here. In parens doesn't seem to be true here, is what seems to be happening. TYO, does it work here? Still doesn't work here either. Is there a problem with my, I want to double check my my syntax for this. I wonder if we need, yeah, I could throw an extra paren around my context, I suppose. I don't think that's going to make a difference, is it? Why would I need that extra piece in there? I kind of want to syntax highlight that too. Let's try that. I don't think that's going to work. Just trying it though. TYO, not working. Let's take all the context away. It's not really a multi-file template. Let's do that. No context at all. Is that going to work? Okay. No context works. Is it? Could it be? Let me turn this off right here. Get the context back on. Wondering if there might have been a problem because the code wasn't compiling. How you doing, baby?
Hi. Are you telling all of your viewers that we have a show tonight?
No, but we got a show tonight, kids. If you like Dungeons and Dragons, if you're out there in there it is right there, live comedy Dungeons and Dragons, over the top special effects, built right here on this show. It's out there at Twitch TV/Dragon Humpers. Give us a follow if you are not doing that already.
I was watching it. It's actually funny. I mean, I don't know if it's actually
objectively funny, huh?
It's objectively funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's actually Dungeons and Dragons, but it's actually funny.
Right.
So don't have high expectations about Dungeons and Dragons.
Or do so.
Or do. We don't care what your expectations
We'll see you. But join us.
We're unlikely to fill them. Okay. Bye. I'm leaving you. Oh.
Okay. No kissing on Twitch. You can't do it. That's against terms of service. Okay. Come back someday. All right. I'm commenting that piece out. Did I make the change? No, I didn't. Doesn't look like I made the change yet. Let's go in here, find it, TYO. Let's go back, add it. Could it be that because the code wasn't syntactically correct, it wasn't working? Let's just add that one. And type in TYO. And code block is failing here. Oh, because I'm actually, you were probably saying this, Rory. Was this all me? That I thought I was in the method the whole time? I was just like, it looks like a method, I'm in it.
Well, no, you made the argument that you can be in a code block or in parens.
Yeah, up here that part wasn't working.
That was fine up there. Yeah.
So TYO here, not working. So that's the part we need them to check on. So actually in that email, if you haven't sent it yet, you probably don't need to. because the TYO does seem to be working down here. TYO here. Like that. Okay, so that's good. That's what I want. Unfortunately, it's not working here, so I'm going to have to type it in.
Effectively, what I alluded to is the in parens context not working from within. I guess it's the call to the constructor of an attribute.
Yeah, even though that constructor did not exist yet, I'd still want that to. We'll still want that to work there.
Sure.
All right. So now we're going to say the name of the feature to activate, and this when we see return null here, and there's no other return statement, that means it returns a void. So I'm going to now declare this. Let's go find our tooltip, drill into that. Come here. We're going to actually, I'm going to hit selection increase, duplicate it, and we're going to call this the, that's not what I want. I want the return type attribute, like that. And it's going to take a type coming in here. And we'll call this type, maybe return type. That, and we'll call this return type as well. Like that. And move this to its own file. There's my return type attribute. Sweet. Come back over here. There's that. Now I just want to filter out a number of these here. I want to just add that for everything that is returning essentially null all the way through. So just again to remind you, all of these functions return an object no matter what. But if I'm simply only returning null no matter what, it's something that's, activate shortcut, it returns nothing. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add this to all of these. Just quickly scanning through the code, making sure, let's do this. I want to put the Solution Explorer back over here on this side. Do it again here while we're, put that kind of right there. And don't want any of that out there. There we go, better. Okay, so we're going to do that. Keep coming down. Return null, same thing. No. I'm going backwards. I'm not going to put this here. I'm instead going to say if it doesn't have it, then it's returning void. Then I have fewer lines of code to change.
Okay.
Okay. So instead, I want to go to, I think there's something called select monster. No. Well, yeah. I actually don't need to do any of these. Well, actually, this returns a monster. So we can put a return type here. And the return type here wouldn't be void. It's going to be the event args monster type, which is monster. So it's that. So I'm going to do that. That's going to return it. So sweet. So now we have one return type we've done. So the thing is, we're filtering out everything because not any one of these does that enum. And I think it's here in this piece right here. This takes a type of creature kinds, and we do an autumn because it takes a type of creature kinds. We're going to look for anything that returns that type, and we're not going to find anything. So we're going to filter all the other ones out. Is what we're going to do because they're all going to return void by default. So okay, so we'll just pretend everything else is void in it, but at the very least we've done this return type. I think I'll put this at the end of my parameter list. Okay, cool. All right, so now we got to do something with that. So now to do that, we've got to kind of refresh our, our brains in terms of where we, back in main window. And I think it's going to start in this space. It actually might be in the template expansion engine. Look, Avalon events. Nope, nothing happening there. All right, let's kill that. That's not useful anymore. I did move something down into the text expansion engine, the template expansion engine. Let's go look at that. It's up here, template engine. Text completion engine. Text entering. So here we're looking and filling out request insertions, going into the completion list. Somewhere in here, here we go, right up here. Complete identifier. Get function starting with. Here's where we want to filter them out. Let's do this. Let's extract this into its own. Oh, it lost extract method. That was that error we saw earlier. All right, fine. So we're going to say this is equal to get D&D functions starting with, and I'll put the filtering in this function is what I'm going to do. And what am I passing into it? Token left of caret. Let's declare that. So right now, if I just return that, we've made no changes to the functionality. And now I want to filter it. So do a select. Type in x equals, where x dot, wait, can I get him with the select statement? I need to call, get custom attribute on it, on the type. It's gonna be kind of a little nasty here. Get custom attribute, passing in return type attribute. Whoops, I meant to pass that in as like here. It's a type. And I want to say I also want to pass in the expected type is what I want to do. Pass in as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do a for loop because this is going to get a little too hard to read, I think. And I want to pass in the expected return type. Type to reference isn't working here. Is it because I have code that doesn't compile? Yeah, I don't have a semicolon at the end of that line. Yeah, that was a problem. Okay. Where is my... I'm looking for return type. Do I have a return type, expected type? Enum entries. Here we go. If expected provider details.type is not null and the type is an enum, then we want to, let's do something like this. Enum type, because this is when we want to really, you know, that's what we want to act on.
Yeah.
And so at this point, I'm going to put that in blocks, and I'm going to say enum type is equal to this. And then I'm going to pass that in. So it'll either be null or not. So we'll come over here, we'll say add parameter, pass in the enum type. There it is right there, the top. Okay, good. Now, so that's going to give me all the ones starting with it. Now I'm going to say, hey, if enum type is not equal to null, then I want to go through each one of these. And I want to say, let's do my for each here. For each function, Then I'm going to come into my function and I'm going to make a call to the line of code I've got commented out right here. Get custom attribute. We'll declare local on that. And let's do that. What's happening here? Oh, sorry, get type. So what I need that right there as well. There it is. Okay, there's my return type, and then I want to say if it's got a return type is not null, and return type dot return type equals enum type. I'm not sure I can do an equals comparison here. I'm hoping I can, but if that's the case, then we want to say that we're going to add that to our filtered functions list.
Yeah.
Filtered functions like that equals a new list of the D&D functions. Whoops. I just typed in NL dot and I'm going to copy that to clipboard, get the slash, and then there, that gives me that. Okay. Filtered functions. I'm going to come down in here and say filtered functions dot add. And we're going to say add in the D&D function. Okay. And then at the end of this, we're going to return it. And I think up here, I'm going to flatten this conditional. So flatten that, and then what it did is it just took our ending piece and returned it earlier, is what it did. And then otherwise we have this. So that's our new function right there, and that's it. Okay.
So essentially, if we have no extra detail, we're going to return the entire list, the functions that start with. Otherwise, we proceed into a filtering facility, which weeds out all of those that don't match the type as well. So we get both effects.
Yeah.
And then we pass the cumulative of both operations out.
Yeah.
Or the intersection, I should say.
What's happening here? Can I convert type?
Any variable of said function cannot be converted to list. So you could call toList on it. Perhaps.
What am I returning back? Okay. Take a list. D&D function. Let's just do that. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I think that's going to work. Let's see what happens. I think I want to rename this variable
I'd say that should be good.
to expected enum type is what I want to do. Initialize player data. Okay, go to code. So we're going to say select. It bugs me I can't rename. I'm pretty sure I can't rename parameters. I can't come in here and do this. It's going to say no. Yeah. That's for like name parameters. If I'm going to use those for the calling, I'm pretty sure that's why the restriction exists. But if I don't have name parameters, I should be able to do it. Anyway, all right, so let's continue. I'm just going to run it and see what happens here. So I'm going to say select monster. And now this takes now I'm going to type in A and cool. So it's already working. See that?
Yeah.
That
is a much reduced list.
Yeah. Cool. AL. Oh, nice. L. There you go. Finally get all the creatures. Cool. Yeah, much better. So now that's what I'm looking for. And because we've built let's go into select monster function. Because we've built automatically enum parameter assistance. If I specify the type of the enum, it's going to go in, find that enum, and it's going to then add all these pieces in here, right here. So we'll be able to get those and we'll be able to fill those in. So pretty cool. I wonder if, by the way, we didn't write support for this, but I wonder if I came in and said like aberration, and then I also came in and I said, or would it also allow me to find beast? Yeah, it does. All right, cool. And so that's, so we can build something like this if we wanted to. Very cool. All right, did we just knock 2 out pretty quickly?
I think so, yeah.
And we still, just to verify, we still get everything else when we're just here, right? We're typing in SE, we get all of those. AD, we get all of those. Sweet.
Yep.
So very, very cool. So now we have the ability with just a single attribute to come in and say, this function is now valid. We could test that. We should actually probably test to make sure it works in the positive direction. We'll have to stop and restart, but just make a quick temporary change where we're going to find one of our functions. I will do maybe something at least with the word get. Get roll. And instead of returning a string, I'm going to have it return creature kinds, just temporarily. So duplicate this, and instead we're going to do that, and I'm going to comment that out. So we're going to, oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing the wrong thing. I actually don't want that. I want a return type here. Sorry. Return type. And I want to say type of creature kinds. So now I'm going to do this. Okay, it's temporary. We're going to delete this. But what I want to see if get roll request now shows up in the list. That's what I'm looking for. When I type in select monster and I hit that open paren, I want to see that it's actually finding that. If it is, yeah, we've just taken this to the next level with just a few lines of code, which I'm feeling good about. All right, so initialize player data. Okay, so we're going to say select monster, and now we're going to type in I typed in the letter S. I don't see it. What was the thing called? I thought it was select get roll request. Okay, let's just come back. G get roll is in there. Get roll? Is that the name? Oh yeah, that's the name of the function. So it's get roll. All right, so cool. So that worked. All right.
It did?
Yeah. Now we don't have, notice though, we don't have support for what here, for finding the right, we should probably fix this. Because right now we're in...
This is nested function calls.
Yeah, nested function calls. We are not getting, we should instead see role name, the saved name of the role to check. So that's what we should see here. Let's see if we can fix that real quickly. That's going to be like in, boy, I'm not sure where my tooltips are being shown here. Is this the one? This actually feels like it's recently been written for me. Build shortcut button. Nope, that's the tooltip for the shortcut. Last parameter tooltip. That sounds like it's right. Okay. Show parameter tooltip. That's my content. Get parameter start offset. That's what we, yes, get parameter number. Get parameter number at position. We need to change two things. Get parameter number at position, and then there's something else in here that's get active calling. Oh, I don't see it here though. Get, oh, there it is right there. Get active method call. Those are the two places we need to be at. So I'm going to hit the space bar. So we're still in that same spot. And now let's look at what our code is doing here. Get line left. So there we can see that line left contains that, or line left contains Closing paren, it does not. The line left contains, so it's real simple. It's a bit of a hack. Yeah, there it is right there. It's a hack, kids, right there. We're gonna get everything before this and then trim. But you know what I really want is everything before the last paren, right?
Yeah.
And then I want to do this. Let's introduce a local for that, and we're going to say trim left, or maybe call this call left, like that. Let's see what we get there. We're going to still have to take some stuff out, and now we have that. And now if we want to say, I think we want to do this. If call left dot contains an open bracket, then I want to say call left equals call left dot everything after last open bracket, and I'm going to trim that. So let's come back up here. What did I get wrong? Wait, everything after? I thought I had an everything after last.
Not yet.
Well, okay. Let's go find everything before last and add it. Let's fix it here. Let's do this. Let's say duplicate this, everything after last, and then we're just going to come in here and change index of to last index of. I think that's all we need. Okay? All right.
Sounds good.
There's my everything after last. Cool. And that should now work. So now let's come back up here. And debugging needs to be terminated. %1.
Wow.
All right, fine. Well, to be fair, we're modifying extension methods. So, you know, it's a little bit under the hood of what we're doing. We created a new extension method for string. Yeah, I've also noticed that edit and continue, I think, has problems with creating operator overloads while you're running, which are kind of similar to extension methods a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, how are we going to view this, treat this? All right, back up over here, go into code, chill touch on cast. All right, here we go.
Did we change to the everything after last? I think you used the everything after to locate it.
Get
or am I getting
parameter
confused?
number at position. What's my line left? Here. Yes, you're right. This needs to be everything after last.
We didn't actually change our usage. We used the original usage to go find the one that we needed to modify or make a copy of.
We changed this function here, get active method call, but this is get parameter number at position. So we want get everything after last is what we want, and then we split. So we're going to come back up here, and then that should maybe work. I almost feel like this is going to work. My hunch is I'm going to do that. And now let's see what happens here. Through space. Not getting anything here.
Is it trigger on space or do you need a character?
Yeah, maybe. Because look, over here, get the creature kinds. And now watch what happens right now. The save name of the roll to check. So it looks like it's working. All right, so now I'm going to delete all that, let that save out, close down the app, get rid of the sample code that we put over in, was it get roll? There it is right there. We're going to get rid of this. So cool, it works in the positive, right? Works in the positive.
Yeah.
We also fixed another bug. We are kicking butt in here today. We've done today.
Yeah, 2 for 2.
2 for 2. This we did yesterday. All right. More enum types for more parameters. That's going to take a little research. Context for templates. ID Google Sheet for shortcuts. They're currently hard-coded. I want to. I'm not sure. I just the problem with the doing this first one, more enum types for parameters, is I kind of need to see. Well, I guess the parameter types are already there. It should already be working. Damage type. So add damage resistance. We're not running, right? Okay, let's run it. I am looking to see then, when I type in add damage resistance, to see helper type for damage type and attack kind. I think this one's already done.
Yep.
I was thinking it wasn't. Let's see if it is. Initialize player data. Code, chill touch, on cast. We're going to say add damage resistance. The name of the shortcut to activate. Does that feel right?
That seems a little strange.
Oh,
That's just slightly weird text.
that's my fault. And these two just were not changed at all. Let's see though if we get the help for the damage type. There it is. Look at that.
There it is.
It's already working. And then the attack type, yeah, magical, non-magical, or any. Sweet. Sweet. Okay, good.
Nice.
Okay, so that's already done. I'm going to fix these two comments here. It looks like this is the add damage.
All confusion, all apparent inaccuracy is down to bad data, not bad coding. In this case, at least.
There's resistance 2. And this is the attack kind. Change this to type of damage. And oops, the kind of attack the player has resistance to. Attack, this is magical, non-magical. The player has resistance to. All right, cool. So now that's fixed. Okay, good. Context for templates. Now you know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, what am I going to do tomorrow if I get all this done today? All right, I think my templates are already in a file, but they're in the wrong file. They're over here in this one. I've got them right here. I click on that page. And there you can see I've got these templates right here.
Yep.
I do have context, but I'm not doing anything with this context yet. Let's see what's going on with load templates. Yeah, there you go. I'm bringing in context, but I don't think I'm using it. Yeah, not using it. Just seeing tab to next reference. Okay. Not seeing it anywhere. Templates, certainly seeing the templates there, and there's the expansion. That's support for context and multiple templates. Well, if we add context, we're going to have multiple templates here. So for example, if I type in if, so here on empty line and in code block, that would, in code block means we're in a place where code can exist. That's a specific meaning in code rush. It essentially also means not in a string, not in a comment. If we're running this, and I'll go ahead and start it up. We'll go in, if we're running it and we start typing in if in a comment, this template's going to expand. So we're not using context yet, okay? So context might be something that we want to add support for. Might. All right, again, we have to look at, we have to say, okay, is what we're doing worth the effort to do? So, so if I, for example, say here's my comment and I type in if, there's the demo, right? It gives me...
That's the template expanding when ideally you wouldn't want it to. And the context allows you to specify that it should only expand if the context is evaluated to true. Right. That will limit the number of times or places in which that template will expand. Yep. It also allows you to reuse the same trigger text with different contexts to lessen the number of different templates that a given person has to know.
Yes. 100%. I want to change this to IDE. I want to change the sheet name to IDE. Maybe I'll do this, IDE, like that. All right, so now I want to create a new sheet. New spreadsheet. I'm not sure if we're going to have problems with this or not. IDE, with regards to getting authentication to do it. I want to take all of this and put it in there. And I want to rename the tab so it matches templates right here. This tab.
So this allows us now to use different sheets to distinguish between effectively D&D centric information and our IDE centric information.
Exactly. So I'm going to rename this sheet to templates. So first change I'm going to make is try to load from here instead of here. In fact, I'm so confident I'm going to just delete this sheet this sheet right here. I'm deleting that tab. Heads up.
Okay.
Yeah, deleting. Okay. So now we've got the data over here. Now I got to get this. This is my magic sheet number. Pretty sure about that. Now I have to take it into, let's see, where are we going to reference sheet name from? Sheet name attributes. I feel like there should be one more reference to it. It's down in Google Sheets. It's down in here. In my Google helper, Google Sheets. Is the word D&D down here? There it is. So these are the IDs. So we're going to say IDE. We're just kind of binding them. I think when we run this and we load the templates, I think it's going to say you need to grant permission.
Yeah, but isn't that going to be a one-off thing?
No,
Once we do grant permission, we should be in business for next time.
Yeah, it will be. I'm just wary of it because I want to make sure that my granting permission, I'm initializing player data here, that the granting permission of it is happening in a way that's not revealing any secrets. That's all. Okay, so here we go. We're up. I have not seen it. Ask for permission.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting. And it seems to work. Let's change the template. And here's my if. And say, whoa. Maybe it's because I've already, it knows that I'm me. And I've already authenticated. It says, oh, yeah, you got this. You're the same owner. Maybe that's what's going on. So I made the change there, reloading the templates. Type in if. Okay. That was fast and easy. We're having a really, everything is like working today.
Yeah.
Better than yesterday.
It's really not. Well, I think maybe, is this just sort of some kind of karmic balance?
Yeah.
After the level of trouble that we had yesterday with freezing and the static.
What is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So there's that one. Let's do shortcuts next.
Okay.
Okay. This one, we're going to rename this sheet to shortcuts. And that is, I'll just show it to you because it's kind of off screen a little bit. That's what I just called it. There's my shortcuts. And I guess I'm going to say shortcut here, shortcut, modifiers, and command. What we're gonna do when that shortcut is found, and then context, like that. Okay, and let's go look at the hard-coded shortcuts we're putting in, and see how we can fix that here. Let's see. I have got a player action shortcut, which is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a class here only. Let's tap Control for options to filter and give me only classes. If I type in Shift-C, it'll just filter only classes. And type in 9 to get rid of members. And all right, cool, better. coder's feature request coming in. Up. And not only that, look what it is. It's running. Pudding.
Gotta love the pudding.
Pudding came in yesterday, just as we were ending the show. We were having a bad show yesterday. Bad day on the show.
All fixed now.
Yeah, I'm going to do a coder's feature request. Here we go. So here's the feature request, kids. If I do any filters other than what it was, if I change the filter in any way, when I come up here, I want a second line underneath this that says, press Control S to save these as your default filters. In other words, I don't want it to permanently change the default filters unless I explicitly ask it to. Because what happens is I come in often and I'm like, okay, I want to do this, but then now this is my default without it telling me the next time I bring it up, right? So if I come in here and I say, oh, I want to get a shortcut binding, that's where I wanted to go, right there. The next time I'm now bringing this up, right, I don't know it, but now only classes are being shown now, right? And it may not be clear, and there's no indication that we're actually filtering that, right? It's like right here, all it says is tap filter for options. We should be saying filtering at least here, and to indicate that we're actually filtering. So the word filtering right here, like that, F. I'll give you that's what it should look like, an F. Filtering, and then if I do change them in any way, like this, if I change them, that's when I want to see the second line underneath there appear. So I'll come in, I'll turn on 8, and I'll turn on 9. That's when I want to see it say Control S, save now, to make this be my next permanent filter. Okay, that's it. That's the feature request. Let's go get a comment out there in the chat room. Save filter option as default with Control plus S. That only is bound when that's up. Okay, that's it. All right, and let me put that in the chat room. How are you doing on time, Roy? I get the feeling you got to go.
I was just going to mention that we have reached the time, sadly, where clearly much sadness.
We're sad. We're sad to see you go.
All right, buddy. I'm going to go. I'm going to see you same time tomorrow. And long may the success and lack of freezing continue.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your help so much.
See you tomorrow.
We kicked butt today, Rory.
We did. We did. So much success.
All right.
As I say, karmic balance.
Yeah, karmic balance. All right. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
All right. So shortcut binding is here. There's our context. Let's go ahead and make it so that we can read it from the file. We need the column attribute here, I think. And so context is going to be a column. Key is going to be a column. No, not quite. It's going to be... I'm going to need a string here. Or am I? Got an enum here. Got an enum here. I think I'm going to change the engine to support writing out to enums automatically. So all I have to do is just say column here, column there. Make sure we've got columns with the same name in our spreadsheet. So we have a shortcut. This should become key. Modifiers. context is a string, and command. Now this one's tricky. Code editor command. What's that look like? This is going to have a name. So we're going to call this command name. Make it a string. Got a dog barking here in the background, and we're going to bind it to the column command. So we're going to call this command like that. All right, we're just using the architecture we built earlier to make it easy to read and write classes from a Google sheet. So now we're going to come in here and we're going to say, I think it's sheet name. So the sheet name is going to be IDE. And the tab name is going to be shortcuts. I think that's all we have to do. All right, confirm that. Shortcuts like that. And look who's here, kids. Copperbeard, oh, you spill a little bit of water on me, Copperbeardy. It's got pudding though. It's good to be clean. How on earth is here? How was the freezing fixed? I'll tell you.
Copperbeardy is in the house.
Yeah, Coding Gorilla says it was one of the scenes that was trying to access the network resource that was no longer existed. Yeah, that's what it was. Thanks, Coding Gorilla, for answering that. Sorry I missed that earlier, Hell on Earth is. That is exactly what it was. I had an image. The image was hidden, invisible. It wasn't even showing, but OBS was reaching for it, wanted to get it. That's what was going on there. I think I had the other sheet open showing it was happening every 76 seconds. That was like my big key. All right, so let's look at my shortcut binding. Let's look at how we're currently loading these and building these. I've got them here, and I'm just calling add here. Okay, so this is what's going on here. Okay, so I got to put the key name in here if I'm going to use the enum. That's really what I want to do. I want to just put the slash key in there. That means I need a special converter. It's a little bit extra work. I'm going to just put divide in there for now. We're going to put these both in here. So there's divide, comes in there. There's my key. We're going to fix that later. No modifiers, so I'll leave it empty. The command is going to be, well, it's got two things. It's going to have this. That's the name of the command we're going to get. And we're going to have to add one more parameter here, or one more column called parameters. And in my parameters, I'm going to pass in the 2 forward slashes. I'm sure we're going to do that as a string or not. I think I will. My context is here. So my context is actually already working for the shortcut bindings. Same thing again. Another divide comes down here. This time the selection, the command is not, it's selection trim is the command, and the parameters are the same. The context is this, though, different context. Okay. That's how I want to bring these in now. Okay. So load shortcuts is here. I've got to reload shortcuts in here, but I also have, I think, a reload templates. I think I want both of these being called in the same spots. What's wrong here? It's like the ampersand. 2 of these. What is it? Like this? Ampersand? How do I get the ampersand in here? Fine, I'm going to do this for now. We'll answer that question in a minute. Maybe if you're watching, you can tell me. What's the don't forget to clip? Clip what? It's 2 sunflowers in the garden? Two actual sunflowers. Copperbeard's been watching for over a year now, I think. He's gone through the full season. I think this is... Okay, let's go back to where we were. Templates and shortcuts. And then I'm going to say reload shortcuts, like that. Right? No, it's not in here. Where's reload shortcuts located? Text completion engine. Okay, yeah, that makes sense for content here. There we go. Okay, so now we want to load these in. So I think it's going to look something like this. Google's shortcut bindings equals, I don't know, Google Sheets dot get of the type of this thing. Whoops. Right here. And I think that'll load it in. Let's set a breakpoint here and run it and see what happens. Okay. Let's see what we get. This could be, yes, the enum type problem. Okay, so here's where we want to come in here. Yeah, this is so cool that we added this. So now I want to get the type of that. Get a type by name. Do I have to go to the assembly? I may have to know what assembly it's in. I'm not sure if I can do this. Get type reference from string name. Oh, look at that. Just type.get type. Oops, that's not what I want. I want full name. All right, let's see if we can do that. Come on. What if I get a generic method? Oh, okay. So what I want to do instead, and since we want to do some edit and continue work here, what I'm going to do instead is I want to say set value. I want to pass it all the parameters to it so we can actually use edit and continue in it. We're going to say full name. value and property, I think. All right, let's declare that. Set a breakpoint here, run. All right, here we go. All right, so this is it. This is the divide coming in here. We've got the input property and the full name. The property probably has its own type, right? There it is right there, property type. But I actually don't need to get that reference type that way. It's probably better to say property dot property type. So is enum calling that? If I can spell enum, we'll find out. Yes. All right. So if property type is enum, what's called the set enum value. You don't need that anymore. Switch those around a bit. I don't want to reorder parameters. Okay, set enum value from here, like that. All right, so now we need to get the enum value from a string. I'm super happy with that. Well, I said super happy. We didn't actually try that. We kind of wrote code for a moment, but I still like it. I'm going to thumbs up it. Let's come in here again. C# get enum value from string. I've done this before, but I don't remember how to do this. enum.parse. Okay. enum.parse. Enum type is going to be enum property dot property type. The value is going to be value stir. And then we're going to say that's the value right there. So we'll do declare local on that. And then we're going to say call set value on enum property. Shoot, I didn't pass the instance in, it looks like. I didn't pass the instance in. All right, let's go back. I'm just going to kill it for now. I don't need full name. So let's make that be our instance instead. Let's reorder parameters. Property, instance value. We need to add a parameter in here. Okay, now we're in set value. There's my instance, and there's my value. And then I want to say, hey, if it's not an enum, then I want to say system debugger break, diagnostics break. Created a template for that, so we quickly get that out. Okay, let's run it. We still don't have support for going from a slash to the divide key. But let's see what we got here. Here's our enum. And the value is equal to divide as a string. We'll go inside there, parse it, and check it out. We got it as a divide, flat out. Nice. So that was working. We're setting the value, enum property value. That all looks good. Okay, that should work for both divide. What do we got here? Value string is empty. I got a try parse in this. Then once that type reference coming in. I think I'm going to need to I do need a try parse actually. I need to figure out how to get try parse to work because there could be garbage in here too as well. We need to be able to support that. So try parse. I think it's that. Is it gonna work? How do I get that T type in there and specify it? I think I may have to use I could do this. Hold on. I'm not sure how to pass that type in there. By the way, I really enjoyed your talk at the Live Coder Conference. It began sticking in my work, sticking in me when working on UI of my latest project. You would need to use reflection to do that. Yeah, Coding Gorilla, that's kind of where I was concluding as well. And I think I'm going to instead take care of most use cases here. And I'm going to wrap this in a try-catch is what I'm going to do. So just type in TC here. Thanks for that.
Disco 7, where are you? We need your help.
Disco 7's here.
Oh God, alright.
He's here. Yes, he's a bad guy. Get us to Disco 7.
Here, you I am.
Spreadsheets thing. That's what we're working on. Try catch. Then I'm just going to say, I don't know, return maybe. System debugger break. System diagnostics debugger break maybe. And then we're going to set the value there. And I assume that if I set null to an enum, that it's going to figure out it's the first one. Or should I set it to 0? For an enum. Maybe a 0. Okay. Let's try that. Yeah. Here. property type here. Code editor command. Uh-oh. How do we get here? Let's look at our call stack. We're getting all the properties. We're transferring the values. The problem is, this is what I believe the problem is. The problem is that we have a property with the same name as one of the fields. Right there, one of the headers. I mean, sorry. And even though we've specified to grab this one instead, it's going after this one, I think. And I have an easy way to fix it by changing the name of this. But I kind of want to look at the code, see if there's something smarter we can do here. What's not making sense to me is this column name property. Let's go look at the column attribute. Am I using that? Because I don't seem to be using it in transfer values. Column name. Where am I using this? Get column name. I'm only using get column name in saving, but not in loading. So I think what I got to do is, I think I got to extract this method here. Get an extract method there, not going to give it to me. Okay. I'm going to call this get. Corresponding property info, and we're going to pass in the type and the headers of I. So that's going to be the name we're looking for. That's what we're going to do. Then we're going to go to the type and we're going to say, hey, give me all your members. That. Let's declare that. Then we're going to iterate through all those.
Don't rush!
The pudding dance. What are we talking about here? No exception party. Yee, dances. The pudding dance. Can pudding really dance though? I mean, without any sort of skeletal system? Coding gorilla ass. Technically, it's just wiggling. Okay, I want to go through every member info. Then on the member info, I want to do get custom attribute, and I want to look to see if it's got the column attribute. And if it does, let's declare local for that. Coder's feature coming up here. Coder's feature request. All right, hold on, let's do this. All right, kids, we talked about integrating machine learning into CodeRush to make it smarter, better. And one of the things that I think we could benefit from is for naming of variables that are declared immediately. So for example, I've done this before. I've been in a place where I've been here, I've hit the CodeRush key, declared a local on it, and notice it says I want to call this custom attribute, but what I am doing is I'm looking at this word and making that word be the word I use here. That's what I've done more than once. And so what I would like is I'd like CodeRush to watch and learn that so that the next time I'm essentially in this scenario, and regardless of what this is here, that it takes that and it now uses that, it learns from that, and it suggests, oh, you want to do column instead. And I think we can do this by breaking up the camel case words as part of the data set and watching and learning from how we're using the camel case words in this. So the next time I do this, it suggests a name more likely to be the one I want to keep. That's what I'm looking for there. Let me just mark that issue. Finish that up. I'm sorry, I said issue, I meant feature request. Machine learning in new declaration naming. That's what I'm looking for there. All right, let's put that out there, get that in to import that. Devs will get that. Okay. Okay, so there's my column attribute. If not null, and column attribute dot column name equals header, then that's the member info we want to work with. And we're actually not working really, it's not members, it's properties is what I really want. Get properties. It's going to be property info. Similar right here. Okay, and then there's my custom attribute. If that's the case, then I'm going to return that guy right there, that property info. Otherwise, I'm going to return, choose CodeRush to convert to function, and otherwise I'm going to say return just this. So what this is going to do is it's going to get us to iterate through all the properties first, check to see if that column attribute exists. Where is it? Here. Check to see if we've got something in there, column with a name specifying the same one as we matched to. And if not, then we're going to go through and just see if we have a property of the same type. So that error we got of trying to assign a string to a code editor command is going to be solved. The next thing I want to do, let's add some backing store to this. And I want to, in my setter here, I want to expand my setter, and I want to add a setter guard clause there. And now if we're down here, I want to say, I now want to load up the command. I'm going to just set a breakpoint here, but we'll add it to do, find and load the command. Okay, like that. Okay, I think it's a run. See how that works. And so now we can get rid of this too, because this comment is no longer applicable. Should be okay. Run. Okay, here we go. Value has now got selection embedding. And now we need to create a new instance of it. Shoot, do we have parameters? We probably don't have parameters yet. Did I even? I haven't even created parameters in here. Actually, I don't want it here. Hold on, let me kill it a second. Let's add parameters because we need to have parameters. And I think we can kill this too. We can, I mean, when I say this, I mean, convert back to auto-implemented property. Okay, so there's command is there. Command goes to command name. Parameters. Now here in my getter, I really only need a getter, I think, for this. I come in here and I'll say, use my backing store for it. And I'm going to say, hey, if command is equal to null, when we're looking for it, then we're going to say command is equal to, and we want to create a new instance of it, and then we're going to return that command, like that. Now we need to create a new instance of it. We're going to use command name and parameters. So we've got to get the first, what is it? Can I do it just with simply with activator.createInstance? Create instance, can we take a text string with a type name? Assembly name, type name. Okay. DND core. And the type name is the, I think it's called this command type name, like this. I need to pass parameters to it though. And I can do two things. I can either use reflection and pass parameters, which is I think a little more complicated to the constructor. We're expecting the constructor, or I can create another method where I just simply take that as a which one is create instance? I also have this. Well, let's see what it looks like out here. So it looks like I can pass parameters into it. Okay, hold on. Here's my parameter option. Args. I want strings with the parameter args. I'm going to get the type first, unless I get lucky on one of these. Somebody name type name. Well, we finally get to args here. They're just not going to give it to me, are they? Not going to get it. Okay, so fine. Create instance. Is there in D&D Core though? Where are those shortcuts? You're in DHDM. That's where we are. Okay, I'm going to use it for now. Command type name goes here. If I can get that type first, it's much easier. The call's way easier. Let's just try to get the type first. Needs the full-on type name. Now we got the type to create. And I'm looking for params object args. How does it differentiate between this and this? I do not understand. I would see what's the difference if I pass in a Boolean here as my parameter. Okay, well, I'm going to just try passing in the parameters. We'll see what happens. That's what we're looking for right there. All right, let's see what we get. Fine, I'll add a setter for this for now. Did we not get to our breakpoint? Did I lose my breakpoint? Well, we're never referencing the command yet. Okay. So to reference the command, I think I have to type in, if I have to get to the code, initialize player data. And get one of those shortcut keys, I think. No? 1, 2, 3, 4. Select all of that, comment it out. Okay, there we go. Cool. So what happens is it looks like the context worked. It needed a multi-line selection. So the context that we loaded out. Oh wait, am I right on that? Let's double check, make sure we were not also. We're also calling add here and here. So these two, we got to get rid of these two lines of code to really test this. Command type name is the selection embedding. So let's do that and see, do we get that type? We got it. Okay, now we're going to call create instance. I'm going to try hitting F11. We're going to get inside that constructor. Nice, and we got the prefix. Is the prefix right? It is. It's including the quotes. So I think what I'm going to do is this. I think I'm going to go in and say, well, let's go to expressions dot get stir and pass that expression in and see what happens, because then we can have expression evaluation on it. Then we come and we get just the 2 forward slashes, which is what we want. Let's run it. There we go. Slash again should get rid of it. We've got the type to create, seems to be working. I want to take out those other 2 lines of code and wait, did that work? That didn't work, did it? Select slash slash. This is not happening, but it could be because the other 2 lines of code are in there. Let's go get rid of those 2 other lines of code. There they are, right there. Run it. Initialize player data. We're getting it from this spreadsheet here. When the divide key is pressed, we're going to execute selection embedding command when there's a multi-line selection and the selection is not commented. And otherwise, we're going to selection trim, meaning remove the trim. This should maybe be renamed to trim leading. And we're going to remove the first 2 slashes if we're in a multi-line selection and the selection is commented. Okay. So select everything, slash, and one more time. The second one didn't work. Why is that? The first one works, and we've got these 2 lines commented out, meaning we're loading straight from the sheets. So let's see why the second one doesn't work. Do we at least get here? Hit it. We do. So now we're going to invoke the command on it. The shortcut binding is selection trim. That's what I want to see. The parameters, the parameters are wrong. Hold on. Let's go look at where we did the prefix on this. Let's go find prefix. We added this line of code here on it, and I'm almost wondering if we should instead do it. Let's kill it. Let's kill it. Let's go to our activator.create call. Parameters. Let's maybe throw it here. I'm changing my mind. I'm going to do a, let's do this. Convert to property with backing store. And setter. Introduce setter guard clause. And then I'm going to say so we're going to do an expression evaluation on it. No, we have to split the string first. And we have to split it on the comma. So we split on the comma because there could be multiples in here. We're going to evaluate each one. We actually need a list of parameters here. Holy cow. Okay, I'm getting here. Hold on. Okay. We're going to support like 1, 2, or 3 parameters, I think is what we're going to do. If parameters dot count equals 0, it's going to look like that. Else parameters count is equal to 1. We're going to pass in just the first parameter. I'm not sure if there's a more efficient way to do this. I don't think there is. We're basically passing in that two and then 3. So we'll support up to 3 parameters in a custom descendant. It's kind of cool. Look at that. That was a duplicate selection there. I'll show it to you again. So I'm here to here, duplicate the selection, it automatically increments it to 3. I should be able to just keep going. Look at that. Like, it's not too hard to create, you know, more of these. Let's duplicate this, 4. Come over here, do one more. All right, so there we go. There's our code right there. So, else, and then we're going to system debugger break. Like that. Okay, let's go back into parameters. And rename this to parameter list. Then we want to, and I think, are we signing this anywhere? Do not appear to be signing it anywhere. Okay, cool. So now I want to expand the getter, actually. I'm going to say if that's null, then I want to create a new instance of it. And I want to then do the work I was going to do down in here, it looks like. I'm going to kill the setter. And then this parameter list. Okay, good. We want to say, we want to